After all that rain this morning, we're finally getting some sunshine. I'm in the greenhouse today. I've been working on up-potting things, going from a little 6-cell tray to a bigger 3 by 3 pot. I wanted to show you something cool. I started doing some up-potting, was it last week? A week or so ago, and I didn't get all of them, but I did these cabbages. Where is it? And two of the cabbages, I'm making lots of noise. Two of the cabbages got left behind and did not get up potted, and I wanted to show you the difference. So I wanted to show you the difference between these plants, which I up potted, and they graduated to this 3 by 3. These two, this one and this one, these are from the same seed, like the same 6-cell tray. So one of these. So they were started as seedlings at the same time as these. But look at the size difference. The only thing that changed is that these got up potted and these didn't. I did these today, just now. So they'll grow, they'll get bigger like this one, but it just goes to show you how a little more room, a little more access to nutrients is going to get your plant going. So if you wait too long to up pot them, they just stay small. So these are my Swiss chards and marigold here. They'll take off now that they have a little more room. So don't neglect up potting your seedlings. So that's what I'm going to do right now, is up pot these. I'm going to start working on this tray here. It's a variety of things. I've got a couple eggplants, tomatillos, Amish paste, tomatoes, zinnias, peppers, more tomatoes, some poppies, which, I mean, poppies you can just seed in the ground, but I was thinking about putting some of them in pots, and I didn't have any potting soil to fill the pot, so like, I'll just start seeds and then transplant it. So that's the plan with those poppies. I also have volunteer poppies growing in my garden from last year, so that's really fun because they just drop seeds like crazy. So yeah, so I'm going to get set up to start up potting these things in this tray so that they can grow like this. One of the things I'm trying this year is this mycorrhizal inoculant. It's called Myco Bliss. I've never used it before, but I have some in a little tray right here, and I'm just going to sprinkle some on the roots as I go along and see if it helps. I've heard really good things about it. So what I do to up pot, so I start with my 3-inch pot, which is not quite but almost full of soil. Now this is a mix of compost, potting soil, and I threw in some worm castings. This is what I got. I mean, you can find worm castings just about anywhere, but these are what I could afford. And that's just extra nutrients. Give them some extra food to eat, the plants, I mean. I grabbed my little seed tray here. Now this particular cell here has 2, so I'm going to try to separate them. Now these are so small that I don't want to just pull them with my finger. So what I have is this little tool. It's just like a little mini shovel. And I'm going to use that to get down to the bottom and pop it up out. That way I didn't break these little tiny roots at the bottom. And now I can break this clump apart gently. Some of the dirt's going to fall away. That's alright. And just sort of gently tease them apart like that. And then one will go in here, the other one will go in another pot. So I have my seedling here. It's got a nice long root, so I'm going to dig a little hole. Oh wait, gotta do my mycorrhizal stuff. If I don't put it directly on the plant, I just put it in the hole that the plant is going in. I figure it'll get there either way. Okay, and then I have more soil here. Well, it's hard to see. Well, you can't really see it because it's down underneath. I'm going to show you. So I have this bucket with extra soil. It's the same as what's in here. And I'm just going to come down here and top this off. I'll try to prop him up a little so he doesn't fall over. Hold on. I'll do that and then I'll show you the result. Now with peppers, you don't want to go too deep. You don't want to go too deep with peppers. They're not tomatoes. Tomatoes will grow roots all along the stem. Peppers will not. So you do want to make sure that you're not burying the stem because it will rot. And when the stem rots, the plant dies. So beware of that. This isn't a pepper. I just realized it's an eggplant. But they're actually related to pepper. So same thing. They're not tomatoes. So I'm going to stick him in. I give the soil around it a little pat. I'll take some of this extra that fell out and just sprinkle that around so we don't waste it. Still fine soil, it's not hurt anything. And if I need a little more, I'll come down to my bucket and just top it off just a little more. You do want to make sure the roots are fully covered. And you don't want to pack it down too tight. But there's 2 eggplants. I have one more. Move my little tag. Give it a little squeeze. If it's sturdy enough, if I give it a tug and the whole plug comes out, then I'll do it that way. But if it's not, I'll use my little shovel. Get all the way in there. Sprinkle a little, oops. But I try to make a hole in the dirt. Sprinkle a little powder. And then set him in. There we go. Add my extra soil from my bucket down here just to top it off. And done. There's all 3 of my eggplants I've potted. Good to go. So then he'll just go in the tray. Now this is all, these are seeds that did not come up, so I'm going to put this in my bucket to recycle. And then once this is all emptied out, I'll rinse this really good, stack it to dry, and then put it away. Next, I'm going to do this one next. So I planted ground cherries, which did not come up, which is fine. The seeds I have are really old. And then I have tons of tomatillos. There's these 2, and then this one tray has 1, 2, 3, 4 plants. That's crazy. So I'll get these all potted up. I'm not going to grow all of these. I'll give some away. Keep my little tag nearby. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I need 6. I only have 2 ready. Let me get 4 more ready. I wanted to mention one of the reasons that I put compost in my up pot, when I up pot in my mix, is because I use that same compost in the garden. And so it helps acclimate my plants to my garden soil by using some of the same compost that the garden is filled with. So it helps them get used to all the different microbiology, which these microbliss or whatever, the mycorrhiza will help with that too. But if you just grow it in something completely foreign to your end destination, the final destination of your plant is completely foreign, when you go to put that in your soil, it's going to be harder for the plant to overcome the transplant shock. But if you make it really easy for them, it's like when you have goldfish. You have to get them acclimated. So I get my plants acclimated to the soil by planting them or up potting them into a mix of the potting soil they were the potting soil that they germinated in, combined with some of my home compost. So they have a little bit of both. They can kind of get accustomed to that, whether it's acidic or alkaline. They can start to soak up some of those good bacteria, just become stronger plants. The soil is that important. A lot of gardeners, especially new gardeners, don't realize how important that soil is to the plant's success. They think, oh, I'm a terrible gardener. You actually may have done all the right things, but your soil is not great, so your plant couldn't do what it was trying to do. So take care of your soil, introduce your plants to your native soil when you up-pot them, and you'll have much more success. Now that I have those plants, I can take my tomatillo plant marker. Do this. Now this one is another one that I have to pull apart. So you see there's 4 of them. See if I can get it out. Yeah, so see the plug came out fully in one piece. That means I didn't have to use the little shovel thing. But I'm going to gently peel away the excess soil. Just break it apart very gently. Okay, and as it comes apart, you can start to separate those little seedlings. And what I'll do sometimes is I'll just lay them in the pot that they're bound for. That way I'm not messing with their roots too much. There you go. Sprinkle some of this stuff on here. Put some of this other soil back in. Get him all nestled back into his little spot. There you go. And then top off with soil. My hands are so dirty right now. I just watered the little 6-cell trays, so now it's like mud. They're just so wet. That's okay. Just means he's got a good start in his new pot. That one, and this one. Gently pick him up. Give him a little hole. Give him some good mycorrhiza. And press that down. And just top them off. You definitely get into a rhythm. It starts out kind of slow, but I get faster as I go, and then I can just knock out a ton of these super fast. Before I know it, it's dinner time. And I'm like, oh no. So, I'm going to finish these up.